After suffering an initial loss at the hands of House Orlok, the Rust Belt Rangers return to their HQ. After reports of rioting Ogryn, they were quickly dispatched again. The Slave Ogryn, on the heels of a victory over the Corpse Grinder cult, have begun to rampage the streets of Acropolis. As they become pinned down by local inhabitants, they snatch a hostage and give him a simple message: help us, or we'll eat you in pieces. They now begin to look for a way out. Welcome back to Miniature Game Montage, where today we have a matchup between the Enforcers and Slave Ogryn. It will be the second match for both of these gangs in our campaign, Ashes of Acropolis. The Rust Belt Rangers enter today's battle with 6 active fighters and have decided to bank their 35 credits. The Biggins, under the leadership of Trog, show up with 6 active fighters. Booger and Pinky add frag grenades to their profile and will be able to toss them at least 15 inches. Today we roll up for Escort Mission, and the Enforcers will be our attacker. The battlefield is standard. The Enforcers have custom D3+5 with reinforcements, which equates to their full force. The Slave Ogryn have D3+7 with an agent, which is their total roster. Tactics cards will be custom 2 for the Enforcers, and they take Seize the Initiative and Lucky Shot. The Slave Ogryn have Random 2 and get Limb from Limb, giving a fighter Sever. They also get Strong and Steady. This allows a fighter to avoid pinning by passing a strength check. The Enforcers generate 1 Underdog card and get Informant. During the deployment sequence, 1 fighter can be selected from the opponent's starting crew. He can be redeployed by the Enforcers. Deployment in this battle will be standard as well. There will be a special agent on the board. This special agent is considered as part of the Defender's crew. The agent has mesh armor and a displacer field with a las pistol. The Slave Ogryn's goal is to get the agent to the extraction point, which is the opponent's board edge. The agent must then roll a 5-up to escape. If that roll fails, they will get a +1 to that roll in each subsequent end phase. The battle will end when only 1 gang has fighters left on the battlefield, or if the agent has escaped. Victory goes to the Slave Ogryn if the agent escapes, otherwise the Enforcers win. As always, thank you for watching, and turn 1 is coming up. And with the Tactics card Informant, they move the Slave Ogryn leader to the opposite side of the deployment zone. We roll up for priority for turn 1. The Slave Ogryn will have it, and Stump is going to execute 2 moves. The Enforcers are going to send Mahoney forward, using both of his actions to move. Back over to the Slave Ogryn, we've got another Lobo Slave that is going to activate. This is Snot. He is going to move up to the door and use his second action to open it. The Enforcers then activate Dragnet, and he uses both of his actions to move. The Slave Ogryn will once again activate. This time it is Pinky, and he is using both of his actions to move through the recently opened door. We then have Dragnet. He is going to use both of his actions to move, as well as the Enforcers are trying to react to the Ogryn headed towards the center. On the other side of the table, Trog uses both of his actions to move. This is the leader that got redeployed. And then we've got Logan using both of his actions to move forward with that concussion carbine. The Lobo Slave Boot is going to activate next, and he uses both actions to move as well. And then we've got Boss Hog also moving, trying to get that frag grenade towards the center of the board. Last action from the Slave Ogryn is Booger moving up the left flank, and he is going to chuck one of those recently added frag grenades. This is going to be beyond 15 inches, and he is going to place this down on the floor, and he is just going to need his straight up ballistic skill of 5 in order to hit, and he is going to hit. That will not scatter. That's what he was hoping for. You do ignore that firepower dice. You always roll an ammo check with the grenade, and it ends up failing, and he will be out of ammo. Talos, the Palanite Sergeant, will then use both actions to move. And then lastly, for the Ogryn, the agent is going to move as well, and that brings us to the end of turn 1. So the Ogryn, they do have the leader going down the right flank as he was redeployed with Informant. We do have Lobo Slaves and a champion going up the middle and one champion holding down the left flank. Enforcers were going to try to stick together in this one, but now having to split their forces. And with nothing in the end phase, we move into turn 2 priority rolls. Enforcers in yellow will take it with a 5. We have Logan that will activate. He uses his first action to move to the stairs, and then he is going to fire that concussion carbine, looking at Booger, who is creeping up the flank. He will be able to clip him here. He does have clean line of sight, and it will hit on his ballistic skill, which is 4. He launches, and it will directly hit. We will roll up to see if it does a wound. This also has knockback. It is only strength 3 against a toughness of 5, so 5s would be required to wound, and that will not be successful. We will roll up to see if he is knocked back, and that is going to be successful. The champion Booger will go down pinned. Over on the Ogryn right flank, Trog is going to go ahead and execute both of his actions to move. And as we switch back to the Enforcers, Dragnet is going to use both of his actions to move. Over for the Slave Ogryn, Boot will activate, and he is going to push forward using both actions to move as well. The Enforcers trying to jockey for some position, they activate Decker and he moves to the center. Snot then activates, uses both of his actions to move. And then we move over to Boss Hog, where he is just going to move forward, waiting for this door to open. The Ogryn then activate another Lobo Slave. This is Stump. He is also moving to that courtyard. And then Mahoney is going to activate, use both of his actions to move, getting on top of the terrain. This is going to get a reaction from Pinky, who is going to toss up a frag grenade, and he's targeting it here just so he can use his regular ballistic skill of 5 any further, and it would probably be more. So he rolls that out. That is going to scatter. We are going to take an ammo check, which is good. Rolling out that D6 and a scatter to see where it goes. And that is going to go into no man's land. Pinky then uses his second action to move to the bottom of the stairs, looking to apply pressure to the Enforcers on the next turn. We've then got Talos. He is going to move up with both of his actions. The underboss Booger is going to get to his feet and just tuck back behind some terrain, hoping to avoid that blast again. The agent is then going to use both of his actions to move, and that brings us to the end of turn 2. So limited fire from both sides right now. The agent appears to be headed for the right side of the board. Slave Ogryn occupying the center courtyard, and the Enforcers are getting ready for turn 3, where it looks like they will have an opportunity to get some fire. They are going to play Seize the Initiative here to take the initiative. No priority rolls coming out, and there will be a group activation. Mahoney is going to be part of that group activation from Talos. He is going to climb, move forward 1 inch, and he is going to unload that Enforcer Bolter, targeting Stump. Now, he normally hits on 4s. He gets a +1 for that short range modifier being within 12 inches, and he fires the bolt gun. This is rapid fire, and that is going to hit. It will hit 3 times. Strength 4 against toughness 5, however, still requires 5s to wound. So 3 wound rolls coming out, and that will be 1 wound. Furnace plates in the front against AP 1 would give him a 6-up save, and that is going to be successful, so no damage. We've then got another shot coming from Talos with that sniper rifle. Talos normally hits on a 4. He will get some partial cover here, making that a 5. And we will roll out. That first shot is going to miss. He does have the fast shot ability, so getting the opportunity to shoot again, and that is going to miss as well. Ammo check required, needing a 4+, and that's good. After unsuccessful shooting, Snot is going to move forward to the doorway, And then we have Logan, the Palanite captain. He is going to move forward, and he's going to take this opportunity to fire that concussion carbine, and he's putting it right over the head of Pinky. Short range modifier makes his ballistic skill a 3, and it is full cover, so it will be 5s in order to make this connection. And that shot goes out. It is going to miss, so we are going to roll up for a scatter with a D6, and it is going to go 6 inches and burst into the wall. And using these activations to their advantage, as they're all done on that side, Booger is going to use both of his actions to move, getting into cover. Dragnet moves forward with his first action, uses his second to open the door. And then back over to the Ogryn, we have Pinky that is going to activate. He's going to declare a charge here, and he rolls up the max. He moves 5 inches plus 3. That is going to be a total of 8 inches, and he does have a versatile last cutter. He is going to be able to get into versatile range of 2 of these Enforcer fighters. Engaging both of them, he's going to send 2 of his tacks into Logan, the Palanite captain, and 1 into Mahoney, and he has a weapon skill of 3. And strength 9, he just needs a 2 to wound, which he gets. This is AP 3, so cuts through all armor. 2 damage reduces him to 0 wounds. An injury dice rolls out, and lucky for the Palanite captain, it's only a flesh wound. 1 shot going on to Mahoney, who is also in versatile range, and he rolls that out, needing a 3, and he misses. Now, this weapon does have an ammo check on it, so we are going to roll that as well. It's all good, and very fortunate for the Enforcers. The Enforcers pass on their activation, and the Agent is going to use both actions to move. We've then got Boss Hog, who is just going to move up slightly as they wait for this door to open. And then over on the flank, Trog moves forward, closing the gap on that right flank to the Enforcers. Stump then moves forward to the door as well, and Boot is going to follow him, and it looks like all 3 of these Lobo slaves are going to pile through that door at once. Turn 3 in the books, and this Zone Mortalis style setup is lending favoritism to the Slave Ogryn, as the Enforcers are having a difficult time getting shots on them. They did have to split forces to try to deal with threats from multiple angles, and we are going to see action coming up in turn 4. Seize the Initiative would be really good right now for turn 4 priority rolls, as the Slave Ogryn are going to win, and Pinky is going to charge into Logan, the Palanite captain. And he does have that last cutter, getting +1 for the charge, giving him 3 total attacks, and he will be hitting on 2s as he gets a +1 for being in base-to-base contact. So 3 attacks looking for 2s. The ammo check is good. All of those hit. It is strength 9 against his toughness of 2 now. So anything but 1 in order to wound. That is going to be 3 wounds coming across. Massive amount of damage. Cuts through the armor. 2 damage each. It's going to be 6 injury dice in total. He is going out of action for this game. Our first casualty is Logan, and we roll up a D66. It is a 56, which is enfeebled. He will have -1 toughness moving forward throughout this campaign. We then have nerve checks to make. First from Talos, he needs a 6. He fails, and he is going to make a run for cover as he becomes broken. He dashes down the stairs, trying to get away from the Slave Ogryn. We've then got another cool check to make by Mahoney, who needs a 7, and he is going to fail and also become broken. So he will make a 2d6 run for cover, and he's going to be moving 7 inches up the platform. It appears to be a big break for the Slave Ogryn in this one. As we move back over to the Enforcers, Boss Hog is going to fire down with his frag grenade, attempting to clip Trog, and he does have fast shots, so he's going to fire first, just looking for his ballistic skill, which is a 4. This is a clear shot that he can see through the doorway. That first shot is going to miss. We are going to roll up a d6 and a scatter to see where it goes, and that is going to go to no man's land. With his ability Fast Shot, he is going to fire again, and again needing 4s. This time he is going to connect. This will clip Trog, who is going to play a tactics card. We roll for a knockback, which is successful. This is typically where he would become pinned, but strong and steady being played, he takes a strength check looking for a 5 or less, and he will actually avoid being pinned, so he will continue to be standing. We'll roll up to wound, strength 3, toughness 5. That 5 is going to do a wound. Furnace plates in the front is a 5-up save. That is going to fail, so he will take 1 wound. As we move back to the Slave Ogryn, the agent now continues to make his way up the right flank, following behind Trog. And then we've got Decker, who is going to move back as there's about to be 3 Lobo Slaves come through the door. Booger moving up the left flank, applying pressure to Talos, and you can feel the Enforcers are now in very bad positions. Decker is going to activate as well, electing to fall back. And here come the Ogryn, as Boot is going to activate using his first action to open the door, and his second is to move through. This is going to clear the way for Stump and Snot, and both of them are going to move as well, using both of their actions to move. Lastly, the Slave Ogryn will activate the Overboss Trog, and he is going to move further down the board, looking to protect the agent as he makes his way down. That brings us to the end of turn 4, and at this point, the Enforcers have elected to voluntarily bottle and flee the battlefield. They have lost their Palanite captain, Logan, and I can tell you what's going to happen whether they win the initiative or not. Talos is going to probably get taken out of action. We are going to roll to see if he recovers here in the end phase. He will. This will give him 1 additional XP for the round. We also roll up for Mahoney looking for a 7. He does not recover. But Talos is going to be in jeopardy, as well as the 3 in the middle. The Enforcers not looking to take substantial casualties from this match, as it really doesn't appear there's an opportunity for them to win. That is one of the things about playing Necromunda, especially in a campaign. If you feel that the odds are really tipping and you're about to get wiped off, instead of going into the next battle with a very limited roster, just go ahead and have your fighters hightail it. The Slave Ogryn are going to take a victory today, however. And with that, we will go ahead and move to the post-game, where the Slave Ogryn will improve to 2-0. The Enforcers are going to fall to 0-2, and we have seen them in this position quite a few times, where they have started out 0-2, sometimes even 0-3 before they start to rally back during the second half of the campaign, once they can get some more bodies on the table. The Ogryn, this was a very difficult match for the Enforcers. A Zone Mortalis board allows the Slave Ogryn to make their way around, kind of avoiding getting shot at while closing the gap, and they kind of stayed in numbers. They had one of their champions out on the left flank, kind of holding things down over there to make sure the Enforcers didn't do anything squirrely. They also had the Overboss moving up the right flank, and the agent made his way all the way across the board and started to follow the Overboss. In the center is where they put the Lobo Slaves as well as a champion and kind of kept those guys together. And when they opened the door and came through, the Enforcers knew that they were going to be in trouble. There was some unfortunate shooting there for the Enforcers as well, and it's just really difficult playing the Slave Ogryn very early on in the campaign with their toughness of 5. You know, you're pretty much wounding on 5s for the most part, with just most of your standard armament from these gangs at this point. The Slave Ogryn are going to collect 50 credits for their efforts today, along with 1 reputation, and the Enforcers will get 25 credits for showing up today, as well as experience to several of their members. The man of the match today is going to go to Pinky with that double charge, getting 2 fighters in versatile range, not taking one of them out during that particular case, but then following up with another charge to take out Logan. He gets the MVP today. Most of our Week 2 games are going to be on Zone Mortalis boards to see how gangs fare in that environment, and we look forward to bringing you some more in the future. As always, a big thank you to the Coffee Supporters Club. I'm kind of rearranging what this looks like and the format of it to recognize everyone that has given a coffee, no matter if it was in 2021, 2022, whatever it may be. So I hope you do enjoy the new look of that. If you'd like any information on that, a link will be down in the description below. It is by no means necessary. I always say that. The coffee supporters and the super thanks and all that stuff, by no means necessary. It is simply just there in case you do want to support the channel. I will be here making content regardless. I certainly appreciate you watching. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.